Southeast Asia. North Vietnam. The body count is rising fast. To date, over 6,600 US military personnel have died in the conflict. President Lyndon Johnson wants to finish the job. In an all-out bid for victory, he has upped the number of bombing raids. But the war is thousands of kilometers from American soil, and bombers need bases. Vital to the new strategy are the US Navy's aircraft carriers. These massive war machines can launch air assaults from hundreds of kilometers offshore. Sailing to her first tour of duty in Vietnam is the biggest of them all, the USS Forrestal. She cost $189 million to build and has a crew of 5,400 men. Her flight deck is vast. Stood on end, she would reach the 80th floor of the Empire State Building. Forrestal represents 4 acres of American sovereign territory, able to travel anywhere in the world. July 29th, 8 a.m. The ship has reached the Gulf of Tonkin, 160 kilometers off the coast of North Vietnam. She has been stationed here for 5 days, launching bombing raids against the Viet Cong. These are dangerous waters. 3 years earlier, enemy fire hit a warship just a few miles from here. In the event of an attack, the ship has 8 5-inch guns with a range of 22 kilometers. In charge of these weapons is Petty Officer Milt Crutchley.
Man ready. Zebra set.
Milt is from Frederick, Maryland.
Aye.
He's just 20, but in command of 2 junior sailors. So far, he's had a quiet war.
The whole 2.5 years I was on board Forrestal, we never once fired the guns in angle or in defense of the ship.
But Milt's war is about to change dramatically. 9 a.m. A bombing mission is scheduled for mid-morning. The pilots slated for the mission head to their briefings. One of them is Junior Lieutenant Dave Dollarhide. Back home in Florida, 25-year-old Dave is a single man with a hectic social life. But the discipline of the Navy made him shape up.
I joined the Navy to become an aviator and grew up actually in the Navy, matured in the Navy.
Flying alongside Dave on the mission will be his good buddy, Fred White. 32-year-old Fred is a family man. He and his wife Marianne have 3 young children back home in Florida. But for Fred, flying a fighter jet is his lifetime's ambition.
Well, I'd like to think I was his first love. But he loved flying so much too. Of course, it was a dream come true for him.
The squadron commander briefs Dave, Fred, and the other pilots on their mission.
Morning briefing.
The target is a railway line on the outskirts of Hanoi, just south of the Chinese border. Their mission is to destroy the line and cut off a critical supply route to the enemy.
They'll each be carrying 2 1,000.
Their commander explains that today they'll be carrying different bombs. A day earlier, Forrestal received a delivery of 7 tons of missiles from the ship USS Diamond Head. The explosives are old and in poor condition, some of it dating back to World War II. When the Forrestal's weapons officer saw the bombs, he decided to get rid of them as soon as possible. Today's mission is Dave's 4th in 5 days, but he's relaxed about it.
We didn't expect to have any trouble in our flying that day.
10:30 a.m. Dave Dollarhide and Fred White cross the flight deck to their planes. The deck bristles with activity as flight crews prepare 27 fighter jets for the mission, loading them with fuel and missiles. The deck of a carrier is one of the most dangerous working environments in the world. One misplaced step can see a man sucked into an engine or blown overboard by a jet's exhaust. The ship is also a floating arsenal, packed with a deadly mixture of high explosives and fuel. In the event of a fire, one man is responsible. Fire Chief Gerald Farrier is in charge of Repair 8, an emergency response unit of specially trained firefighters. Colleagues regard the 31-year-old father of 4 from Arkansas as the best in the business. 10:32 a.m. As Dave completes his pre-flight checks, he takes a look at the missiles being loaded on board his fighter. One catches his eye. It's an older device, delivered yesterday. He's not impressed.
The bomb was large, not designed for high-speed carriage. Had rust all over it from being in storage for a long time.
But there's no time to worry. There's a tight schedule to keep. Dave and Fred climb into their cockpits and make final adjustments. The bombing mission is just minutes away. The planes are Skyhawk A4E bombers. They're fast, nimble jets, able to carry 2.7 tons of explosives. 6 Skyhawks crowd the port aft deck at the back of the carrier. Dave Dollarhide's aircraft is 2 planes away from Fred White's. Their job is to bomb the railway line, but for that, they'll need support. Over on the starboard side stand 7 McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom jets. Flying Phantom number 110 will be senior pilot Jim Bangert. His job is to protect the mission by destroying anti-aircraft guns on the ground. The Phantom is twice as fast as the Skyhawk and armed to the teeth. Among its weapons are 24 Zuni rockets, housed in pods on either side of the fuselage. 10:46 a.m. The ship swings into the wind to give its planes maximum lift for takeoff. Forrestal's steam-driven catapults hurl the first 2 planes into the air. They accelerate from 0 to 240 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds. A cameraman records the action. The Navy uses the footage to aid training and improve safety. 10:51 a.m. The planes are powered up by mobile generators, while deck crew arm the missiles and the pilots make their final checks. 10:51 and 21 seconds. Dave Dollarhide and Fred White prepare to take their turns on the catapult. Suddenly, there's a flash and a loud bang. Jet fuel spills onto the flight deck and spreads rapidly. A massive fire rips through the Skyhawk planes. Flames engulf Fred and Dave. They've got seconds to get out of their cockpits, or they'll burn alive. In the searing heat and smoke, Dave battles to unbuckle his shoulder harness and leg straps. He finally breaks free and prepares to jump, only to realize he's still connected by his oxygen cord. He rips it off and braces himself for a jump of 3 meters onto the flaming flight deck.
I just leaped out the left side of the airplane, twisted in the air, and fell on my side.
Dave feels a bone smash in his lower back. He writhes on the deck in agony, unable to get to his feet. The flames spiral out of control as Fire Chief Gerald Farrier and his men race to the blazing Skyhawks. The footage shows Gerald reaching the fire first, armed only with a handheld extinguisher. He gives it a test blast to check it's working, then starts spraying it on the flames beneath the first Skyhawk.